All right. Coming up tonight, let's talk Monday Night Raw. I know it's cool to say Raw sucks, but I didn't think tonight's episode was bad. We're gonna keep it 100 right here on Break It Down with Brian H. Brought to you by the Wrestling Realm.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special Raw recap brought to you by Haps TV. This show, of course, is brought to you by the Wrestling Realm. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications, tell everybody right now. We are here. We are live talking Monday Night Raw. So, folks, tonight we saw the New Day victorious over the Hurt Business in the main event. And I have to say this, let's keep it 100. There's always this discussion about Monday Night Raw not being good, right? That Raw sucks. This is what people like to say, you know? It's just it's the easiest thing. To me personally, I think it's a cop-out. Everybody likes to say, oh, Raw ain't that good, yada, yada, yada. And here's my thing. One, depends how you watch it. If you're like me, I always say, you know what I do? I sit back, I watch All American first, and then I tune in Raw, and I go back and forth, and then at the end, I watch the whole show. But it's a lot of fluff, no doubt about it. But I thought tonight's episode, as I'm sitting here updating the stuff on the YouTube channel, I thought tonight's episode was solid. I like the fact that you had Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I do think a breakup is coming, folks, but then I know rumor and innuendo is saying that Big E could be drafted to Raw. Personally, I think that would be not so good. Here's why. I think that would push him back because, yeah, he would be back with his brothers, the New Day. But you see, Big E has been repackaged, sort of. He's got his own music. He sort of has his own identity. And it seems like he's still trying to really find who he is. So I think if you do put him back with them on a full-time basis, I think that kind of hurts him. So I'm not really looking to see that happen. I really hope it doesn't happen. I wouldn't mind, honestly, take out Hurt Business. I wouldn't mind seeing the New Day break up, though, or some dissemination between Woods and Kofi Kingston. I'm always one that's looking at images and everything, right? So I want y'all to take a look at this episode graphic. Look at Kofi Kingston. He's smiling. He's cheesing. He's happy to be here. Now I want you to look at Bobby Lashley. He's serious. You look at MVP, right? They're heels. Doesn't Xavier Woods look a little mischievous? You know, doesn't he? I'm just saying. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I'm not so. I think it would be very interesting. This is definitely one of the matches at Money in the Bank. I mean, he was going to tune into it anyway. It's the WWE Championship, no doubt about it. But when you really think about what could happen here, this is definitely going to have people tuning in, you know? So I'm interested to see what happened. Hold on. Sorry. This is Drew McIntyre. So y'all let me know, what do y'all think? You know, you can watch right here, those watching on Haps TV. Appreciate you. Those watching right here on Twitch. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done so, download the Haps app. You know, I'm definitely one to invite people on the show. So if you're interested, you want to come on, you can jump in the conversation tonight by simply downloading the Haps TV app. And then I'll go ahead and, you know, just comment. Let me know, yeah, you want to get in. I'll go ahead, add you in on Haps TV, and you can join in the conversation. And we could talk Monday Night Raw. But overall, I just think I thought tonight's episode was solid. I didn't hate it as much. I think too, one of the things that irritated me about Raw was, just the constant rematches. Now, this whole Eva Marie stick, which I'll get into, that's been annoying, but it's serving its purpose. That's what it's supposed to do. I'm not supposed to like it. Let's see right now if anybody want to join. Letting the group chat know that we live. Join, download the app. So, let's talk Eva Marie and Naomi. So we saw Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, as they was deemed most dominant women's tag team in WWE history, right? I want to call her Piper, but Duda and Eva Marie victorious over Naomi, Nikki Ash. She's now known as Nikki Ash, the superhero. And Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Now, Alexa Bliss is still playing these mind games. And I was watching Shayna Baszler, and there was one point she jumped out of the ring and she told Eva Marie to switch spots with her. And I'm not sure if it was so that she could keep a eye on Alexa Bliss. I would definitely go back and look at that. But I thought that was certainly interesting. I loved how, it's small things they do. Then I thought for a minute, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was like, wait, did they put, let me put myself back on camera. Did they put Eva Marie on the other side because they didn't want fans staring at Eva Marie's rear end during the match? Because she certainly was, standing right there. So I was like, so is that why they did it? So I was all confused. Not gonna lie, I was all confused. But it was something that happened. In the end, it was Eva Marie getting it done. No, it was Eva Marie saying that she won, and I thought that was something interesting. So I just don't get why they did it that way. But I was hoping that the baby faces won, but then again, with the heels winning, it makes sense because it creates the story. I want to see what happens with Eva Marie, especially going into Money in the Bank. There's obviously the rumors that she's going to be champion, which I really hope not. But then again, she is a heat seeker. She's naturally disliked by the WWE universe. So it's definitely going to be interesting when the fans get there because they're going to boo her and they're not going to be hesitant about it. She's going to draw so much heat. I'm wondering how much will she be able to handle it? Because I think she'll draw more heat than she ever drew before. And then there's other stuff that she's did. We all know she's been very vocal about being an American and how she doesn't want to stand against police brutality. Therefore, she doesn't like what Colin Kaepernick is doing. So now we got a new Eva Marie, but she's trending every week. Like I said, she's not liked by many people. So that's one of the things that when you sit back and you see this, you're like, okay, let's see what happens. And so only time will tell, folks. Only time will tell. But I really dislike the fact that Naomi didn't get the win, obviously. But one of the things that I did pay attention to backstage, you saw Asuka talking, you saw Nikki Cross celebrating being a superhero, right? Then you saw Asuka saying she liked being a superhero. And you kind of saw Naomi kind of looking at him like, what? Like, what are y'all talking about? So that makes you wonder, is there a heel turn coming? Is there a heel turn coming? I know that's always the easy way to say things, right? Is there a heel turn coming? We always talk about in WWE back in the day, Cena should turn heel, but you hope that you do see Naomi. Kind of, she kind of wakes up. Let's be real, So you hope that things get better, because It just doesn't make any sense. So we shall see. But folks, make sure you check out the Wrestling Realm if you haven't done so. Make sure you check out our latest episode. We discussed Roman Reigns. We spotlight him, the real Dwayne Allen, discuss Roman Reigns, and whether or not did he finally acknowledge the tribal chief. You got to tune in and find out. But it was definitely fun to go back in history and talk about his career and everything he's done over the years. So that was certainly interesting, and to see how far he's come now. We definitely have a few more episodes coming. We will probably be doing a podcast this week. I obviously got to check in with him, but I think that is on the books. So make sure y'all get ready for that. So let's get this situated. Boom. All right. Sorry, when you're the show producer and you're the show anchor, you have a lot of stuff to do. Definitely not somebody who just sits up here, shows up, and then like, oh, okay, so this is what you want me to do. Cool. No, it's not that easy on this end over here. But all right, let's see. CBS got their let's see. Did they grade it? No, they didn't. I always like to see what they talk about, because shout out to Brent Brookhouse, who always does the ratings. I always, as a wrestling consumer, I consume a lot of podcasts. I consume a lot of wrestling media. So shout out to everybody out there putting in that work. It doesn't go unnoticed. So I always try to make sure I catch up on everything. So yeah, but definitely jump in the chat. We talking Monday Night Raw. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Whether it's on Haps, whether it's on YouTube, whether it is on Twitch, you name it, we there. So feel free to jump in the chat. Let me know, what did you think about Monday Night Raw? How did you feel about it? Did you enjoy it? I know there's been this discussion. People just don't like Raw no more. And it's kind of understandable, but like I said this over and over again. The show has gotten a lot better. We're going into SummerSlam weekend. I'm expecting the WWE to kind of turn it up a notch. John Morrison versus Ricochet tonight, and I think that could have been a match. It could have been, it was a solid match, but I think you could have built towards this. You got two guys, and I know it's Money in the Bank, but you got two guys who are high flyers. I think that's something that people would enjoy, just that anticipation. You create some anticipation there and see what would actually happen when they got in the ring. Now, I'm going to get back to Nikki Cross's gimmick, because as I'm going through Bleacher Report, like I said, I'm going through everything. Shout out to the Dr. Chris Miller. But it's calling the new gimmick rough around the edges. Now, here's my thing. I've said this time and time again. This is perfect for Nikki Cross. I've had the pleasure of speaking to her, off record, and when I mean speaking, just kind of talking to her outside of the WWE ring, and you see that she's a very bubbly person. This superhero gimmick fits, and something like this can last a long time, longevity, and that's what you want to see with pro wrestlers. You want to see them get longevity, and I think Nikki Cross can do that with this gimmick. I don't think it's such a bad thing that people are making it out to be. So I'm interested to see where she goes from here. So, like I said, the match was kind of, but let's see what happens. Let's talk Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. Now, I was entertained. I was entertained because we obviously know these are two former 3MB members. But when you saw them as 3MB members in the mid-2010s, there was no way you thought either one of them would be WWE champion. You didn't think Drew would be champion ever, because in the beginning, he was the chosen one. But then once he went on that downward spiral, he was like, oh man, it's over for him. No way he's ever going to have the faith of the WWE. Hey, what's going on? Y'all seen? I appreciate you tuning in. But you never thought Drew would become WWE champion. So then you move on, right? And you see Jinder Mahal come in. And with Jinder Mahal, you're thinking, will he be champion? Never, not even. Well, he leaves, he gets bulked up, and he all of a sudden looks like $1 million. He becomes the modern day Maharaja. And then boom, he's WWE champion. Now, Yassine is asking, is WWE acting? It's some acting involved. I'll say that. It's some acting involved. We for those who do not know, it is a predetermined storyline, but the hits are real. Bodies are falling. I will never use the F word because I don't disrespect the people who go out there and put their lives on the line. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate the comments. I could just never do such a thing because, like I said, I have too much respect for people in the business and people who go out there and entertain us. So I would never, ever disrespect them. But, like I said, you sit back and you look at Drew and you look at Bobby. And when you see Drew and Jinder, you didn't think that these guys would have if you would have watched wrestling and then you stop for years and then you come back and all of a sudden you see these guys are former WWE champion, you would think somebody's lying. But they did it, So I didn't hate this match. It's always personal because Jinder Mahal feels like he's being superstarred. He's like, look, man, we came up together. We was in the grind together when we was kind of cast aside, and all of a sudden, you're not answering my phone calls. You're responding to my texts a couple of days later. Now, this is something I kind of wish they would have, put some more emphasis on. I was actually rooting for this to be a program for the WWE Championship when Drew had it. I don't want to see it now, obviously, but I was like, all right, man, this would be cool. You have these two, they go back and forth, boom. But nah, I thought it could have been a one-off, with last year when Drew was in his reign as the WWE champion. I thought you could have, marched on in there. So, but it's not going. It didn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll see, as things move forward. But right now in the Money in the Bank match, and I kind of missed the Raw and SmackDown. However, it would certainly be overkill if they had 4 Money in the Bank matches because you had the men, the women, then you would have the men and women on Raw, the men and women on SmackDown. That would be way too much. So it makes sense to put them all together. But right now and this might be it. Maybe not. But you do have Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Riddle, Ricochet, John Morrison, and Big E. I think this is kind of. I'm really picking between 3. I got a possible, a no way, and no. Okay, so Ricochet is my no way. He's not winning. And I'm sure I'll talk more about this as the weeks lead up to it. But yeah, Ricochet is definitely my no way as far as this is concerned. Morrison is no way. Riddle is a possible. Kevin Owens is a possible, but I think it's either going to be Big E or Drew McIntyre. Those are the ones, and most people probably would say Riddle, but those are the ones that I'm going with. Yassine says, yes, the falls are definitely real, but when someone comes out and hits you with a chair, come on, man, that's an act. No, the chairs hurt. They're real chairs. I've seen them up close and personal. Now it's a way they protect themselves to make them hurt a little less. So I put it like that, but those chairs do hurt indeed. So, that's the thing. But yeah, Money in the Bank is shaping up to be very interesting. Like I said, tonight we did see Riddle and Styles. Styles is somebody I thought who would be in there, but he wasn't. But Riddle got a win. So You know, that was definitely a huge pickup, a huge win for him. AJ Styles and almost tag team champions. They're right now just holding on to the titles. You know, I don't even think they defended it, but and it sucks because like, well, who's going to beat them? I mean, obviously, I figured they would hold them for a while. I know some people thought it may be a month reign, but I figured they would hold them for a while, just knowing how this WWE tag team division works. You know, I didn't think it was going to last too long. It says you get hit with a chair, you're knocked out, dude. That can kill you. So when the chair hits you, that's fake. It's not fake. It's the way they do it. You know, they put their hands up, and obviously, you know, they pull back when they, you know. So and there's that. But you know, let's talk about Charlotte Flair. So I'm confused. Is she injured? Is she not? And I want to take a look at some literature around this because you know I saw what's her name, Rhea Ripley come out there with her, and that was the confusing part because Rhea was out there and she was the one who was kind of walking with Charlotte. I mean, she was imitating Charlotte. So, and Charlotte even made reference to the NBA. She said Anthony Davis, James Harden being injured. Therefore, with them being hurt, you don't see the NBA doing as well because of their injuries. So I'm like, well, she's not lying. But what's the deal? You know, will there be a match? Will there not be a match? Some people even tried to say the rumor she was pregnant. And I'm like, okay, so this is what we're doing now. Like, I personally don't think you should ever comment on a woman's pregnancy unless she's told you that it's true. You don't make that rumor up because, or even say you look pregnant. That's obviously that's a whole different conversation, you know. But who knows? It says major, and so it says everything is kayfabe. Somebody even put up a tweet, Charlotte knowing her basketball, and they clap. And people trying to figure out who's the heel, who's the baby face between Rhea and Charlotte. So nobody knows. And Rhea was definitely somebody that was often compared to Charlotte. You saw her, you know, kind of change her look a little bit. But going into Money in the Bank, you know, we'll get another match between those two. Do I want to see it again? No, not really. But I wouldn't mind seeing Charlotte take the title. That also, you know, on the SmackDown side of things, we're also getting another match between Bayley and Bianca Belair. And that's another one. Like, come on now. Like, going into the summer, you don't have to constantly give us these rematches. It's uncalled for, WWE. It's really uncalled for. But one match that was very interesting, and I hope y'all got a chance to check it out. That was Mustafa Ali versus Mansoor. Now, and Bleacher Report gave this a C plus. I don't know whether they looking for something great. You know, sometimes stuff is just stories, man. You know, I was listening to the Davis Banks versus Davis podcast, and they had what's my guy from the Public Enemies on there? Let me see, because I want to make sure I get his name right. Yeah, Son of Mars on there. And I was sitting there like cringing because they kept talking about the Attitude Era. And anybody knows me knows I will defend the era because it's one of those things you had to be there. They said they can't stand when people come up to them and say, oh, I don't watch this stuff now. I watched it on the Attitude Era. That was the greatest thing. And I get that. I do. I understand. But for those who didn't grow up in the Attitude Era, you don't understand. Tuesday was an experience in school. It was the thing. You couldn't wait. It was on. You couldn't wait for Tuesdays and Fridays. Obviously, for Tuesdays because you could talk about Monday Night Raw, or if you didn't have cable like me, you went and found out everything that happened on Monday Night Raw. I'll never forget. Shout out to Eddie who told me, Brian, you ain't see Raw, did you? No. Mankind is the champ. And I was like, what? Mankind? Mick Foley? Mrs. Foley's baby boy is the WWE champion? So what I couldn't wait was I couldn't wait until it was time to get back my grandmother would give me the tape. I couldn't wait to get that tape to see how it all played out, right? Then, fast forward, there was also, the Fridays when SmackDown came around, because now I could watch that, but it was always those conversations. And so that's the reason why we love the Attitude Era so much. Now, the Ruthless Aggression Era that people always talk about, the work rate was so great, and this, that, and the other. Well, I always ask people, when you was a child, was you thinking about whether or not a match had 5-star matches? No, you didn't. And then in the Ruthless Aggression Era, they took away our stars, so we had to get okay, we understand our Rock, our Austins, our our Rock, our Austins, our Mick Foleys, they're gone. We understand that. Our DX is gone. Now we got new stars. We got to get used to these guys. We got to get used to the Edge, the Christians, the Benoits, the SmackDown section, the Rey Mysterios, Kurt Angle in a different light, Brock Lesnar, Big Show in a different light. We understood that. But when those things happen, it was something adjustment. And so while the matches were good, and y'all can say better, that experience was gone. For us wrestling fans who stuck with it, it wasn't the biggest conversation at the lunch table anymore. Everybody wasn't talking about wrestling, and this for me, this is in high school. Everybody wasn't going like this or like this anymore. So that's the reason why we're so defensive of the Attitude Era, folks. That's why. Because it was an experience. It was something that you had to be there for. And the same way that us Attitude Era kids do not go bashing the New Generation Era or the Golden Era or the era of, I don't know, Hackenschmidt and Gotch and Rogers. We don't want the Ruthless Aggression babies bashing the Attitude Era. And I think that's the last promo I'm going to cut on you Attitude Era haters. Talk about it was overrated. Give me a break. But, and so this brings me to Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. Their backstage encounters set up this match because Mustafa is trying to teach this young man a lesson. He said, look, I've been the nice guy. I've taken the high road, and it's gotten me nowhere. And what did he do during the match? He faked his leg injury. And, he got his leg caught up in between the ropes. And it was the funniest thing because when do you ever see someone, when they're caught in between the ropes, help out or get help from their opponent? You never do. That's the ref's job. So when it happened, that's when he jumped up and he got out of the ropes and he kept nursing that injury and he rolled him up for a pin. 1, 2, 3. Ali was victorious, and I thought it was great. I did. I surely did. Shout out to Public Enemies Pod. Just tweeted 4 black men just main evented Raw with the LeBron James first NBA championship GIF, where he said it's about time. So shout out to them. Make sure you follow the Enemies Pod on Twitter. You will be laughing. I promise you. Make sure you should already be following us, but if you haven't, follow at Wrestling Realm. I might save this. I'm gonna put it in and I'll bring it up again. Bone to pick. WWE is really trying to force Jackson Riker down everyone's stomachs. And we don't like it. We don't like him. You hear me? We don't. They're making him a babyface, putting him with R-Truth. He pinned Cedric Alexander tonight. We don't like him. Yeah, it's one of these things, I guess, because he's the All-American. But he's known to hatred. And because people knows that he likes to spill hatred, it's one of those things people are not going to root for him. We would rather root for Elias. No questions asked. We would rather root for Elias. So Elias did the move walking away. Cedric was alone. But like he's the heel. Cedric's the heel. Cedric's that young up and comer who's kind of feeling himself. Now, I would like to see him and Shelton Benjamin get their act together and be welcomed back into the Hurt Business. I mean, come on. Can you get yourselves together and get welcomed back to the Hurt Business? That's what we want to see. We don't want to see all this stuff going on. Excuse me, I had to take a water break. But yeah, so hopefully they'll figure themselves out. But overall, I thought Monday Night Raw was solid, folks. I didn't think, I didn't think it was like great. I'm not gonna say, oh man, you need to go back and watch this. But for what they gave us tonight, it's holiday weekend. I'm not one who really cares about Lucha House Party. I never have, to be honest with you. But they're they're there for somebody. But Mason T-Bar, well, I think they were doomed from the start. I don't see no recovery. But then again, I didn't see any recovery from three-man band. And look at them. 2 or 3 went to become WWE World Heavyweight Champions. Now, who would have thought that? Nobody. Nobody at all. So, but overall, I definitely enjoyed the New Day taking out the Hurt Business tonight on Raw. The Trouble in Paradise, it was good to see MVP back in the ring, though. He's healing, but it was definitely good to see him back in the ring. I think something is brewing. I don't know what it is. I really don't, but I think something is brewing between the New Day, and I think there's going to be some split. I think they've milked all the merch money from that group that they could. I do. I think they got all the money that they could, and I think something else is coming. I don't know what it is, though, but we shall see. But, folks, I'm going to call it a night. As always, I appreciate you, Yassine. Appreciate you jumping in the chat tonight, talking WWE, Raw, and asking the cool questions that you had. But I'm going to go ahead. Make sure you follow the Wrestling Realm on all social media platforms. If you haven't done so, follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Realm. Follow me at Brian H. Waters. I can't follow back on Instagram yet, but as soon as I can, I will. I don't know what's going on. I can't even comment. I'm posting videos with no captions. I feel like John Cena. I think when I get my caption abilities back, I might not even post captions no more. But we could definitely follow you on Wrestling Realm on Instagram. So make sure you check us out there. And then also follow us on Twitch. I was if you're bored, go watch me play WCW Nitro. I was playing this earlier today. I also have WWE 13 on the feed as I was playing that. But we're celebrating 25 years of the New World Order. As you can see, all 3 of these guys was in the NWO at one point in time. One of them being the founding father in Hollywood Hogan. So make sure you check out our as we pay homage to the NWO. That's on our page. Make sure you check that out. Until the next time, folks, thank you for tuning in.